What's up everyone, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review I'm looking at the Batman Unlimited Batman Arkham Origins Batman figure. Now I thought this was a DC Direct figure. I did not know it was part of the Batman Unlimited line, which is really just DC Universe Classics. When I bought it, I swear it said DC Collectibles, and it doesn't have the ab crunch, so that made me think it was possibly the DC Collectibles figure, but I ordered it anyway because I wanted to see what it was like. Turns out it was a good decision because it actually is part of the DC Universe Classics Batman Unlimited line. So it does have the height of only a DC Universe Classics figure, which is to the top of the ears, just under 7 inches tall, which is about right for the Batman figures. The DC Direct figures are a little bit taller. Now, here's the thing. It's kind of good and it's kind of bad. It's in the same line, or not line, same styling as like the Injustice figures, in that they have a really good sculpt and somewhat limited articulation. But this guy's sculpt is good at first glance, but if you look at him, like look at his whole body, the proportions are off. He's got tiny arms and really big legs, really thick legs and waist. He looks kind of like a kid wearing way too many layers of clothing, getting ready to go sledding or something, and he can't put his arms down all the way because he's got all these layers of clothing on. It just looks kind of chubby. It looks weird, and he's got kind of a tiny head. So the sculpt work is good and the paint work is good, but it just doesn't look quite right. As far as the articulation goes, it's good and bad. The head looks up really well, so that's nice. Of course, it looks side to side. The shoulders are ball hinges. They're pretty limited though, due to the way they have them set up. Of course, they go front and back, no problem. There's no bicep swivel, but he does have the swivel in the right spot on the elbow to make it usable, at least a little bit. But the elbow, it doesn't have the greatest range of motion. That's about it right there. It's not horrible, but it's not great. The wrists, they swivel if you can get in there, but it's really hard due to that wrist piece right there, the hand piece. So you only get a little bit of a swivel out of it, and they do have a hinge, but that's pretty much useless. So it's the same on both sides. No ab crunch at all. Standard swivel waist twist. There's no ball joint in there to let him rock side to side or anything like that. He has standard DCUC style hips, so they go forward, and he actually has a pretty decent range of motion for the legs. So that's okay by me. And then they go out to the side. They look good enough like that. So a kicking pose wouldn't be hugely out of the question. It actually might make him look a little bit better, but it's still not ideal. You know, his legs still look a little bad, and he looks really stiff with that torso being the way it is. And there's tons of mold release on this guy. I don't know what happened. Maybe the suit's made out of leather and he's sweating in his crotch a little bit, but it's really greasy. I got it all over my hand when I first opened it. I cleaned it up a little bit, but I wanted to show you guys how bad it is. So be aware of that. He does have a thigh swivel. It's weird because it's like the Injustice figures, the swivel's not even straight. It's like at an angle. So when you swivel it, it screws up the leg a little bit. So that's kind of odd. And then he actually has double knees, which I thought was really weird because they don't normally do that. And he's a bulky figure, but they did it anyway. So that was odd. It looks okay, I guess, but it's still really bulky. And then the ankle is just the standard ankle pivot, which is super limited. They screwed up on that too. Bad decision. It's just almost useless. And then the feet aren't perfectly flat. This one sticks out to the side, and you can't really do anything about it. So he can't really stand up, even if he could. And I say that because the cape, which is sculpted well, it has lots of little texturing sculpt work there. So it's sculpted at the top to look like it's tucked in. It's not quite symmetrical, which I don't care for, but what are you going to do, I guess? But the cape is really heavy, and he can't stand with it at all. You definitely need something to prop him up. You need to lean him over pretty far before the weight even balances out. So don't expect to stand him very easily at all. That's about as far as you have to bend him over for him to balance on his own. So kind of a bummer. So he looks good at first glance, and he's okay for a shelf space. I mean, he looks okay. But I suspect he's not going to be for everybody, in that he has a little bit of too many flaws. And he's kind of, I mean, I thought he was a little bit short, but I guess putting him up now, he's not so bad. Deathstroke's a little bit shorter than him, so it's not too bad. I thought he was shorter than Deathstroke, but that's okay then. So there it is. There's the Batman figure from Batman Arkham Origins, Batman Unlimited line. Not the best figure. It's okay. I can't say I really recommend it, though. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the Deathstroke review and other figure reviews and custom figures and good stuff like that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.